So we're going to do a video today on the 25th of March. It's very cold, as you can see me, but up there there's still ice on the water. The plan today was to show you some whip fishing. Over the years the 20-foot's mainly been roach and big bags of roach, normally sort of just up there where you can just see the cars on the bank. That's normally the best area for roach, but this year the roach seem to be well, vanished a bit. There's still a lot there, but not as many as there normally is. So the main target species now are the rudd. They seem to be a little bit bigger than they have been over the last 2 or 3 years. So you can get a bigger weight usually, if I can do it right today. I haven't been doing any rudd fishing so far this year. I've not been on here, so probably will be a bit rusty to start off with. As you can probably see, I've set up a range of whips and 2 waggler rods. Basically, I haven't even got a plummet out of the bag today. I've set everything up at maximum 4 foot deep. Hopefully I'll be catching about 2 foot. The shallower you can catch, the quicker you can catch. You see there's a horrible skim close in today. Normally I'd fish your standard sort of bleak style floats, which they might be all right if the wind drops a bit later. But we've also set up today, if you can see that, some little whip wagglers. Basically you can flick that out, sink the line against the weight of the float, and all your line's under the water and you're not getting that horrible skim. Plan today, I'm going to start on the waggler. I'm not going to feed too much because we're fishing for rudd. I'm going to start on the waggler and start loose feeding a little bit of M and an odd pinky short. I'm going to start on the 2.5 metre whip, which is that one there. 0.3 rig, and just to bulk it down and just get it to the depth that they're feeding at. And then gradually, as the fish sort of suss you out slightly, progress a bit further. There has been weights of sort of £40 this year in a couple of the matches. So that's the sort of weight that I want to be looking at. Whether we'll catch that today or not is a different matter, especially with Andy up and down the bank. It's very clear, it's very cold, so I would think 25 to £30 would be a good weight today. Feeding wise, just a few pinkies and maybe a big maggot on the hook. So simple fishing, but it's just all about fishing round the area that you feed in and just nicking 3 or 4 fish and just keep rotating around it. So let's see how we get on. Basically it's 1 a pop. It's started on the waggler, and I don't know, I had a few better specimens on that, but it wasn't as solid as I thought it was going to be on there. So I've started on this 2.5 metre whip. I'm basically just feeding in one area, and I'm going to sort of take a few fish off where the bait's hitting the water and then fish around it as well. I think the fish are just a little bit too small at the minute, but I think they'll get bigger. I think it'll get better. Just experimenting with depth, just trying to find what's the best depth, what's the best hook bait. Feeding, getting in a rhythm.
Is it all rudd?
Yeah. Unless you get one better one and then 5 little microfish. the wind got up and completely ruined it, really. I was catching really well on the 3 metre whip, just dropping in here, catching nice and steady, and then the wind just got up and you just couldn't fish anything but bottom end only. So the flow's changed about 3 times as well. So I'm on the Waggler at the minute, just while you're clattering up and down. I've just had another visitor as well, so I feel like the fish have just backed off. Trying to catch these better stamp ones on the Waggler. That's why the Waggler works so well, because if you just keep going down one hole, they just back off away from you. Yeah. I'll put no bait on, shall I? I won't have no bait on, shall I? You'll find it then.
You're getting nice stamp fish.
Yeah. I think as the sun's gone round the back, then better fish seem to have appeared, if you know what I mean. But I'll drop on this in a minute and it'll be solid again. So we've got half hour to go. I'm just going to keep switching between this line and the Waggler. Just keep putting them in the net. Tend to find that as the match goes on, they get a bit wiser and not harder to catch. They just back away from you, and that's the plan anyway. Gone small on this whip as well, which is obviously, and catching more roach, which is an indicator that there's not as many kamikaze rudd. All roach now.
Suppose that's my fault as well.
No. Probably see I'm feeding a lot shorter than what I'm fishing. Just simple fact that I found with rudd, if you feed too much bait, they back away anyway. A bit like if you skim a fish in, you sort of feed accurately and fish sort of half a section past it, just because they're wise up to it. But straight away, this is nowhere near as good as what it was earlier. Nowhere near. Well done, Andy. No, they've sussed it out.
They've sussed it?
Yeah.
All gone far?
Yeah. That wind's freezing. Noticeable as well, as soon as the wind got up, the fish dropped down deeper. Did you? Nailed it. Nailed it. Have you? You reckon?
There you go.
Fish it like an art. I'll go straight away there.
It's difficult on fast life because zoomed in, I've got to find. Are you going to go middle again?
No, I'm going to have one more over there.
Two next. What are these scales?
£30.
Any individual ones you want pictures of?
Yeah, yeah.
What did you get, buddy?
£30 dead. It's been absolutely rammed with fish. I mean, this near the bridge here has been the boss peg for the rudd all year. So when I drew it, it was yeah, pretty simple match really. Started off on a 2.5 metre whip. The wind wasn't, well, there was no wind at the start. Could catch really well on that, just on a top and bottom rig. Then I've gone to sort of 3 metres, 3.5 metres, and then the wind's just made it absolutely awful. I've had to fish a bottom end only, sort of a 0.8 bottom end only, even though you're fishing sort of this deep. And it was all right, but the wind was going that way, the tow was going that way, and if you could get your rig to go the right way, it was, you know, it was a fish a chuck. But I've caught really well in spells. Sometimes I've caught 6 or 7 a minute, sometimes I've caught 2 a minute, sometimes I've caught any in a minute, but just couldn't really settle on anything today. And then sort of the last hour, the light's gone, and I've caught on a waggler, which I think if you're going to do sort of 40 pound of these rudd, you need to be catching on the whip all day, and the wind needs to be dead right as well. Summarise, best hook bait was double pinky. Maggot was okay, just didn't last as long. And then bronze maggot was okay on the waggler. You just had to keep feeding the area and fishing all the way around it, and that was the key really. You couldn't take more than 2 or 3 fish off one line. So all in all, £30. Lovely day's fishing. Felt like I haven't done the peg justice, to be honest. First time I've sort of been on the rudd this year, and a few things I would do differently, and definitely set a heavier bottom end only rig, just because that wind was awful. So all in all, £30, job done.